Now here's the problem, is if you drive it in auto four-wheel drive, then it's still in auto four-wheel drive. So let's see if it'll switch. I guess it stays in auto four-wheel drive unless you change your mind on what you're gonna do. So we'll raise her up. And see if that freed up our front wheel. Yep, that got it. Thing is when you got such articulation on the front end, you think look at that inner joint. It's having to force it in a, look at it moving down. I don't want to do that too much, but that's our big issue there. And that joint is really not that old. As far as miles, there's not many miles on it. Let's raise her on up. And I'll show you another thing that I thought I was going to pull. You can imagine how heavy these tires are. Thought I was going to be slick. Get you another look at this joint. Thought I was going to be slick because all I've got to do is pull this out. Truck's lifted. I think I've got enough room here to pull this out because all we got to do is take these bolts out. And the reason why I did it in two-wheel drive is so we can get access to these bolts. But I thought, well, all I got to do is take that nut out. This being a four-wheel drive, it's got a cover on it. Now, front-wheel drive cars don't have that. Trucks especially, you know, where you go off-road. Now, the all-wheel drives don't, but the four-wheel drives or off-road vehicles do, to keep mud and debris out of the inside of there, to keep it from rusting and corroding. And to me, I've seen as many on front-wheel drives rusted and corroded just from salt and being exposed. So we'll get that off. I'm still, do believe I'm gonna have to pull this tire, pull this wheel off. Now then I'm gonna take just a flathead screwdriver. It don't take a lot to take that off. Knock it off, get this cap off here. Now if you'll look, it's got a self-locking nut. GM's good for that. So let's go get us a socket, move that off. Should be a 36. Always remember to leave your nut on there so you don't damage the end, and I'll be able to get it out. Now somehow I missed recording taking these bolts out and taking this spacer plate out, but all you have to do here is just remove these 6 17mm bolts, and you may have to tap on the spacer, break it loose from the inner axle. You can see the difference, but this is supposed to be for lifted trucks, give you a little more travel, and you need to inspect it good and make sure there's nothing damaged on it like this. If you look here, this dust ring is damaged. So we'll have to do something with that, try to fix it. Now this shaft is supposed to be for a lifted truck, so it gives us a little more extension. I think this right here actually extends in and out. So, but you can notice it is built heavier than the other shaft as far as this goes. That looks like it's actually smaller, so I don't know if there's a reason for that or not. But all this looks smaller as far as the boot. But I think we've got travel inside there is the reason why that's like that. Now we're going to take our new shaft and we'll start the spline in first. Now, the fun part is I'm going to say that this thing is probably stiffer than the original. Now, you see here, that's what I was concerned with in the first place. That thing is gonna touch, so I'm gonna have to remove this, I do believe. Yep. So we'll take that ring off. All you gotta do is just tap it all the way around lightly and it'll come right off. Ring, I didn't try to baby it or anything like that because we're not saving it, we don't need it. Let's see what we look like now. Now everything is stiff on this, so it's not gonna walk in there like. Now the fun part is here, because this has got to go up here and we got to put in our, which it does have better travel than that other one. It's better than I thought it was going to be. All right, let's see if we can get this spacer block in. Now what I've done is I've took a big pair of channel locks, and this, I can tell a huge difference between this axle and the one I took off. And I'm sitting here walking the threads in. If you'll see, I'm not got them in a bind, and I'm gonna do that all the way around, but that's really all you have to do. Got 5 more to put in. Now I'm gonna start them all before I run any of them tight. Yeah, that's nice there. Very nice, very nice. Now that I got them all started, I'm going to take and just run them in just a little bit and start pulling them in all at the same time. We're not going to rush anything. If you feel one of them feels like it's cross-threading, then you want to stop, regroup. Last thing you want to do is replace this axle, and that's the only way you'll be able to fix it, is to replace the axle itself. And that's the inner axle, not the CV axle. If you look here, you can see the oval shape where it's stamped at the end. So it's self-locking, you don't need anything extra. Don't forget to put your washer in there though. Now let's go find out what the torque is on this and these. And what's strange about it, if you'll notice now, I can turn this by hand. Before, like this one, which it's going to be next, but I'm going to have to order it. See, it's really hard to turn. And if you notice, the boot has come out on each end. All we like now is to put the dust boot on there. Got everything torqued. That is so much better. If these boots hold up, this joint holds up, we'll be in great shape. Impressions so far is really good. That's our part number to GM 8033 ET, or I guess 86574. Anyway, that's all the numbers. It's Precision CV shafts, new constant velocity drive shaft, reinforced, heated, Precision spline OE fit, and it did. It fit great. So far I am thinking we're really the way to go. Now you can see the other side. I'm fixing to replace it. I'm gonna go ahead and order one for that side, and we'll work on it. Now, does anybody want to help me put this wheel back on? Come on down. Help.